Hello ladies and gentlemen, it's Mike here at Game From Scratch, and today we are talking about GitHub because GitHub just made a very fundamental change to the way that pricing works for private repository and for teams. And this is kind of accumulation of things that have happened since Microsoft acquired GitHub. Now, if you happen to not heard about that, way back in June of 2018, Microsoft acquired GitHub for an amazing $7.5 billion. And to be honest, at the time, there was a lot of people thinking, oh, the sky is falling, this is the end, Microsoft are going to kill it, the whole embrace, extend, extinguish kind of thing. This was the end, let's move over to other repositories, and so on. And the truth of the matter is, new Microsoft is much different than 2005 Microsoft. They are really, honestly, seemingly embracing open source, and they're making money doing it, too. So they're going to continue doing it. And I think that most people would argue that under Microsoft's stewardship, GitHub has become a better place. Now, GitHub is important for a variety of reasons. It is the #1 repository for code online, I imagine both closed and open source. But one of the big challenges that happened there is the closed part. If you didn't want to have your code in public, you had to basically pay them. Now, they did some stuff back in January of 2019. They made a couple changes. So GitHub Free includes unlimited private repositories, which was a pretty awesome change. But one of the things about that change is it had limitations. So that was limited to 3 collaborators for a private repository. So if you had a bigger team, you had to basically either pay them or work in public. Well, that's where today's announcement comes in. This whole thing is basically gone. So now GitHub is pretty much all features are available for everyone. Now there's still some tiers. There's ways that GitHub are going to make money, but there's also a pricing change there as well in the good direction, by the way. So, we have this blog post. It comes from Nat Friedman. It is really zoomed in. Let me zoom that out a little bit. By the way, Nat Friedman is a great guy. I met him back at a Novell developer conference. And I don't even think Novell exists anymore, but he's the guy that started Xamarin. He's done a ton of open source contributions, but now he's I think he's head of open source at Microsoft. At the very least, he's in charge of GitHub. So this is the announcement from him. Is basically, we're happy to announce we are making private repositories with unlimited collaborators available to all GitHub accounts. So that 3 thing is gone now. All of the core GitHub features are now free for everyone. Until now, if your organization wanted to use GitHub for private developments, you had to subscribe to one of our paid plans. But every developer on Earth should have access to GitHub. Price shouldn't be available. A barrier. Price should not be available. This means teams can now manage their work together in one place. Continuous improvement, continuous development, project management, code review, packages, and more. We want everyone to be able to ship great software on the platform developers love. Teams who need advanced features like code owners, which honestly, I don't actually know what that means. I think it may be like a gatekeeper for code commits, possibly. Enterprise features like SAML or personalized support can upgrade to one of our paid plans. And as I mentioned earlier on, there is also a pricing change here. So they're reducing the price of paid team plans from $9 per month to $4 per user per month, effective immediately. And existing customers will have their bill automatically reduced going forward. So you can now have teams that have private repositories. So if you want to work on, not open source code, you can now. You have no limitations there. Well, you do have limitations. We're actually going to see those in just a second. So first, let's just kind of compare the plans we've got now. So we've got the free tier. Now, keep in mind, there are basically no limitations on open source projects. So the limitations they apply here almost always apply to closed private repositories. So you still have unlimited public and then private repositories, unlimited collaborators, and then this stuff, again, is free for public and free for public. So on private, you're limited to 500 megabytes of GitHub package storage. That's going to be a bit of an issue if you're doing games and you have a lot of data. So that's still going to be a problem for some people. Again, if it's public, no issue at all. But for private repositories, space is going to be a problem in a hurry. And you get 2,000 actions minutes per month. Action minutes would make a lot more sense, but actions minutes per month is 2,000. If you jump up to the team category now at $4 instead of $9, you get everything from free. Required reviewers are added in, 3,000 action minutes instead of 2,000 on private repositories. Once again, on public, it's still unlimited. You get 2 gigs of storage instead of 500 megabytes, and you have code owner support. And if you jump up to the $21 per user per month enterprise level, you have advanced auditing, a whole lot more storage, 50,000 action minutes per month, SAML single sign-on, and then everything included otherwise. And then you have GitHub One, which is a contact sales thing. And you probably don't want to contact sales because that always means it's expensive. All right, so that is definitely a nice move. Now, it doesn't make it so that you can do like huge projects in private, but you can have huge teams now working on private code. So it does make GitHub that much more useful to the vast community. Also going to probably hurt their sales quite a bit, but especially because they're making half as much off of a smaller amount of people. But then again, that's one of those nice things about having Microsoft as the owner instead of GitHub as the owner. GitHub was actually running into financial difficulties in terms of just floating the money. So they were going to have to monetize this some way. Microsoft doesn't have to. They have so much money, they don't care. And that is probably one of the biggest advantages. And let's put it this way. Let's say if GitHub was bought by, let's pick the names of the company. So Microsoft bought them and it seems to have turned out pretty well. What if it was Apple? Well, then there would be an app store and it would only work on Mac products and they would deprecate, all the other APIs within a month or two. If it was Oracle, they'd be suing people for using their repository. Of all the big people to buy it and run it, I have to say Microsoft just seemed to have done a solid job. Now, if you're interested in learning more a little bit about the fine details and such, there is the FAQ. I will link all the relevant stuff in the linked article down below. But yeah, there's the changes. So GitHub Pro will now include 2 gigabytes and 10 gigabytes of data transfer. GitHub Pro is reduced down to $4 and 3,000 actions and so on. GitHub Free for individual developers now includes unlimited collaborators. So that's the big change there. So they remove that 3 limit and off they go. They got details on how you can upgrade your plan or downgrade your plan because you're going to actually have a lot of people that were paying for the functionality that is now free. So like I said, Microsoft definitely aren't going to be making money off of this deal. And they do have instructions here on how you can downgrade your existing subscription. So if you are currently paying for a pro plan and the free tier now covers you, hey, you've got options there. And a couple more details here. How long will this be? Forever. This is a change that is permanent. That's definitely nice. So yeah, you can learn a little bit more here. Now, I know one question that some of you are definitely going to have is what the heck is an action? Well, action is basically instructions or tasks that you run on their end. So if you're doing things like continuous improvement builds and that kind of stuff, that's where those actions minutes. So basically you're running workflows on GitHub servers. So you can do testing and so on using their servers on their end. And that's what action minutes are all about. Now do keep in mind that continuous improvement, continuous development stuff, it is, again, the action minutes are free in public repositories. You're only paying if you're going into a private repository for this kind of stuff. So, and on top of that, you can also pay to have more. So if you need to go over that limit, you can do it on a usage basis. So that is available. Now, one thing I'm actually not sure of, and if you know this, and you can let me know down below, can you pay for more storage? Because that's the one that I find kind of interesting. So you see here right there, if you need to go up, you can actually pay 0.008 per minute, so just shy of 1 cent per minute for additional minutes, and that it changes based on the OS you are running on. So Linux is less than 1 cent. Weirdly, they haven't made Windows cheaper, which, it's not like they're charging themselves licensing fees. So I find that one a little strange. But yeah, there you can see the cost of CI stuff. And obviously, if you're self-hosting, it doesn't matter. But I am curious, if you do have to pay for additional storage, or if you can pay for additional storage, if you know that, please let me know in the comments down below. But that's it. That is a pretty big deal. Probably since the whole announcement, this one was the biggest. Obviously, Microsoft bought them. This move, the free, the unlimited private repositories, even if they were limited to the number of people, that was a big development. And then finally, they got rid of that. So now we've got GitHub becoming much more useful to a lot of people, or a lot cheaper to a lot of people, depending on your perspective and where you are at right now. So let me know what you think. Let me know what you think of 2 things. First off, this change, does this make GitHub more useful to you or cheaper to you? And finally, what do you think of Microsoft? Have they changed? Can a Leopard change its spots? Are they open source friendly now? I have not seen anything in several years that makes me question, since their new CEO took over. I believe that they are changed, but I'm curious to see if you believe that as well, or if you think that this is really a long game trap. Let me know, comments down below, and I will talk to you all later. Goodbye.